Monday, the first Monday after another huge and actually the craziest March Madness that we've seen so far.
Facts.
Before we get rolling, we have Collins today, excited. I want to hear about your bracket.
I know
what mine looks like. There's some good, but there's a whole lot of bad in it. Thanks to Arizona, but that was last week. But I did see something really cool yesterday that I thought, really kind of encapsulates college sports a little bit and really kind of how, sports can bring us together in interesting ways, right? So Fairleigh Dickinson, no, that isn't some author of, Huck Finn 2 or anything like that. They're a team that beat number 1 seed Purdue, won me $1,000, a story for another day, but they had no band. And so they advanced to the second round, but they weren't able to bring a band with them. So what did Dayton do, the University of Dayton? Dayton University, whichever one, they sent their band to go play for Fairleigh Dickinson.
Oh, because that's where the tournament was. That's where that round was.
I thought that was such a cool gesture.
Man, that's awesome.
I don't know, there may be a connection there. Does an assistant coach, did he play there? Does he know somebody? All these guys know each other. But it's just kind of examples like that, especially in college sports, that I think are just interesting and again, just kind of shows how, you're playing against each other. Mm-hmm. You're all against each other, but you're all with each other too in some sense.
Fairleigh Dickinson.
Fairleigh Dickinson, man. Heck of a
win. You won't forget that. You won't forget that college soon. So what you're telling me is that Dayton's band made the tournament, but Dayton's basketball team went to the NIT.
I think Dayton made the NIT in basketball, which is like, going home with a 4. Hey, you went home with somebody, but, is it really who you want to
be? Unless you're North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like, we have to work on ourselves.
North Carolina said, listen, we don't swing below a 6. So
hey, look, we're going to stay in tonight.
We're going to stay in tonight. Yeah, the economy's bad.
It's not a good. I'm going to maybe start working out a little bit. I don't like what I'm seeing in the mirror right now.
Yeah, but Michigan looked at the 4 and said, listen.
Hey, we'll go home and get beat around.
That's fine.
That's what happened.
That's exactly
Can't even go win the whole thing.
That's a great way to put it. Kentucky, Purdue, and Kansas have all been knocked out of the NCAA tournament. The Dallas Cowboys get a new wide receiver, and the NHL continues to push LGBT Pride Nights. It doesn't make sense. I'm Jake Crane, and welcome to Crane & Company. Now, this year's NCAA tournament so far has been, for lack of a better term, really drunk. Now, since there hasn't been any truly dominant teams at the top this year, like we've seen in the past, the parity is at an all-time high in this version of March Madness. Now, while that's a great thing for college basketball fans and college basketball in general, one of the bluest bloods in Kentucky seems to be falling into a trend of disappointment that is forming almost annually. In fact, they only have one NCAA tournament win in the last 3 years, even though their head coach, John Calipari, is the highest paid coach in the country. They haven't been to a Final Four since 2014, even though they recruited an unbelievably elite level and have more resources than Saudi Arabia. Now, it seems that about this same time every year, I have to come on here and ask Kentucky fans why they keep falling into what I call the Coach Cal cycle. It goes like this. It starts with a disappointing end to the season, where Cal's seat's starting to heat up, but then there's hope after seeing the incredible players and classes he brings in. His seat cools down a bit, because nobody wants to cause any friction for this new wave of prize recruits that are going to change the landscape again for Kentucky. Now, then Cal goes on his "This is why we lost" tour during the offseason, which may or may not include making fun of Kentucky's blossoming football program under Mark Stoops, before the cycle of disappointment starts again. Now, at what point does Kentucky break this cycle, even though they basically gave this man the whole bag? At this point, there are no excuses left. This can't be blamed on the one-and-done philosophy anymore. Kentucky not only had returners, they had some of the best players in college basketball returning, like Oscar Tshiebwe. Cal will go on the radio and say he is a magician when it comes to offensive schemes, but turns out he's really only Job from Arrested Development. Illusions, father, illusions. Now, either way, with the implementation of the COVID year and the transfer portal being the second widest open way to go where you want, outside of our southern border, this is the new norm. And if Kentucky does not get serious about their obvious problem, their program will become just another normal one too. I'm going to go and bring in my co-host, David Cohn. Well, we'll get the Kentucky fans pissed off this morning. But you know what? I think they agree with me.
I don't think they disagree with you.
How many times do I have to come on here and say this? It's every single year. My other co-host, Blaine Crane, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver. Blaine, I want to start with you.
Really?
Good start. David.
All right.
We'll get back to you. No, I'm just kidding. Blaine, no, Blaine, Kentucky. When I look at Kentucky basketball, I think of Alabama football. I think of Duke basketball, Kansas basketball, UCLA basketball, the bluest of bloods. So Georgia, Bama, just teams, and I know Georgia's kind of just now winning championships, so maybe you could exclude them from the list. But USC in football, teams like that, programs that are above the cycles of the sport mostly. Now, sometimes you get caught. You see what happened to a school like Nebraska that's won a ton. There's different reasons. But it seems like for Kentucky, as crazy as this tournament has been, what's been the most consistent about Kentucky is disappointing in March and doing less with more than anyone else. How, when you consistently have the best players in the country, do you continue to disappoint? Because I always say it's one of two things, and it's always on the coaches. The buck stops with the coaches. Either one, these players you're recruiting aren't as good as we think they are. And if you look in the NBA, it is littered with Kentucky players. Absolutely littered with them. And the fact that Cal has one natty, because Anthony Davis and that unibrow freaked out, which he's unbelievable now, when he's not hurt. He's basically Mr. Glass from Unbreakable now. It's either the players are that good and you're not developing them, or somehow you do not know how to identify players that can run your system. Either way, it's your fault. If you're Kentucky, though, what do you do?
So are you talking to Blaine or are you talking
I know. I don't know.
No, I'm seeing how confused I can get. Go ahead, David.
Okay. Well, for Kentucky, I mean, it really is. I don't think Kentucky fans disagree with you. That's like to your point earlier, because I've talked to a lot of them. I think they are frustrated. At the same time, I don't think they're ready to fire Coach Calipari. What makes it interesting is it's really a tale of two halves here. 5 out of his first 6 seasons at Kentucky, there was nothing less than an Elite 8. Now you're moving on. Like you said, they, bounced in the second round this year, bounced in the first round the year before that, didn't make the tournament the 2 previous years. One of them was canceled due to COVID. I get that. But they did return the National Player of the Year in Oscar Tshiebwe, and we're not talking about just some guy. He's the highest paid coach in college basketball. So for $8.5 million a year, I think people should be able to expect making Final Fours and winning national championships. But we've just seen this weekend, guys, there's so much parity in college basketball. It is hard to win. Look at what Tom Izzo's been able to do with Michigan State. Overperformed by a lot of, people's estimations this season, but won national championship. Only one. Right, same as Coach Calipari. We look at in Syracuse.
Jim Boeheim.
Jim Boeheim won national championship, just like we were talking about a week before last when he retired. So it is hard to win at the highest level, but if you're going to be the highest paid coach and you're getting all the best talent, then to me you have to be able to piece it together.
Yeah, and Blaine, I don't want people to get confused. I'm not saying Kentucky should win the national championship every year in college basketball.
Compete.
That's impossible. I'm not even saying they should make the Final Four every year. But it's one thing to have one down year. Hey, we lost the first round to St. Peter's on a crazy game, whatever. It happens in basketball. But now we're seeing it consecutively. Not only that, you're not winning the SEC. You're not winning the SEC tournament. And if you look up right now, if I'm grading the SEC and looking toward the future, Kentucky's top 5, but they're not 1. I wouldn't project in the next 5 years, honestly. Blaine, right now, where would you, if I told you that another team or 4 other teams would be ahead of Kentucky in the SEC when it comes to pecking order, would that shock you at all?
No, wouldn't be surprised.
Think about that statement, how crazy that statement is. We all grew up watching college basketball. Kentucky was God in the SEC. Every time you played Kentucky, I looked at the calendar as a young Auburn fan, loss. I don't care if it was at Rupp. I don't care if it was at home. But now it's just, hey, just another good-looking girl walking down the street.
Well, if you're a Kentucky fan, when's enough for Cal? Like, what else has to happen?
Jim Harbaugh cut his money?
Cut
his money?
Sooner or later, if you have to pull that move, because I know a guy walking around in Tuscaloosa, that'd be a great fit.
I don't know if I want that.
Right now, why wouldn't you? He's been to an Elite 8 against UCLA. Right now, if I had to put all my money on one team to win this tournament, Alabama by far looks better than any other team in the NCAA tournament. I truly believe that. But, I mean, the amount of five-star Kentucky gets, like, I'm talking about, like, they're compared to Alabama when they were running through people. That's the Kentucky I know. And if you're getting paid this amount of money, and let's not forget about last year, you're a 2 seed.
Yeah.
You're a 2 seed walking into a tournament, and you lose to a St.
You lost to a middle
Peter's,
school.
a St. Peter's team. And at the end of the day, and you go back to this Kansas State game, Kansas State didn't play good. They didn't. They were 0 for 12 from 3 in the first half. Right? Oscar Shigre, the last 6 minutes of that game, had 2 points. That can't happen. What's that come down to? That's telling me you're not getting your best player the ball down the stretch, and that's coaching. So you're getting paid all this money at Kentucky, which is a perennial powerhouse, one of the blue bloods in college basketball, and you're losing like this year after year. Sooner or later, I mean, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, guess what, guys? It's a flailing duck.
Yeah.
It could always get worse, though. I'll tell Kentucky fans that. You think it's just automatically guaranteed to get better? It can get worse.
The SEC's not slowing down.
No.
That's the scary part.
You make the wrong hire if you moved on, and I don't know if it's going to be a firing situation. I had several Kentucky fans text me over the weekend like, hey, was this Coach Calipari's final game at Kentucky? Just with the idea that maybe he would either move on or step into an administrative role. Like, I don't know the answer to that, but you make the wrong hire next, it can get worse.
Yeah, that's true. Again, we've seen this happen in college sports. You walk into Scott Frost's office, hey, man, J.G. Whitworth, I need my money, and I need it now because you're not performing. And again, it goes on who you fire him. That's one circumstance. But then Michigan goes into Jim Harbaugh's office, hey, we need some of this money back. Then all of a sudden, he turns into Newt Rockne. So, like, it can go multiple ways. And again, do I hate John Calipari? No, I don't hate the guy. I don't know the guy. I think he's a great recruiter, but I also know this could recruit 5 stars at Kentucky. All you got to do is take one trip to Rupp and look up in the rafters. I mean, they've been doing this forever. So it's just interesting to see it, but I feel like it's the way college basketball is going with the COVID year, like I brought up, and the transfer portal. We're seeing, who knows? Like, we've seen crazy tournaments with upsets. This is on a different level to me because I'm watching the competitive nature and the talent of these teams, and there's not a huge separation between some of these very high seeds and some of these lower seeds when it comes down to being able to put the ball in the basket and play defense. We talk about styles make fights, and it is never more prevalent than it's been in this year's NCAA tournament. But Kentucky, you better shape up. All right, you better shape up. But speaking about shape, if you're trying to keep up your fitness habit with a personalized workout program, make it from Fitbod, because you can get 25% off your subscription or try the app free at fitbod.me/booster. That's fitbod.me/booster. Because look, and Blaine, you brought this up. I got to give you credit. We all started the year with New Year's resolutions, all right, and your best intentions. But we know you're not sticking to it, right?
No, we know you're not.
Well, you can lie to yourself. We know you're not doing it.
I know
there may be a couple of y'all.
We know that you're not doing it.
That's exactly right. All right, Fitbod. The Fitbod app creates a workout program, like we said, personalized to your goals, fitness level, and available equipment. It tailors it to you. It knows what you have, and it's able to build a program and routine for you. It learns from your previous workouts and adapts as you improve. Not only do you get jacked and tan, it gets smarter as well. All right, and again, Will Smith's not going to have to save us this time. This app switches up your exercises to avoid overtraining or burnout while keeping your workouts fresh and fun. They also change based on your personal progress for maximized result. They have demonstration videos, and a full year of Fitbod is less than the cost of a single season with a personal trainer. Woo! How about that?
Love to hear that.
Take that, science.
Saving money, getting ripped.
Saving money and getting ripped. You love to, and then you look great during beach season.
You look great
which
during
is on the way,
beach
or wedding season. Got 2 months.
Super jacked and
shedding for the wedding.
Matters the most.
Sure.
Shedding for the wedding a little bit.
Shedding for the wedding. Is that the hashtag?
Put it on a shirt.
Lost 8.5. Lost 8.5.
Wow, you look good.
Yeah. Give me that.
You look good in that Leo Beachy over there.
I know. I'll be wearing a leotard by next week. Keep up your fitness habit with a personalized workout program from Fitbod. And like we said, get that 25% off your subscription or try the app free at fitbod.me/booster. That's FITBOD, little dot, big M, big E/booster. And you'll find it there. Congrats on looking great and being super rich. You're welcome.
And that fat is
out of here, mister. Get on out.
All right. Booster Club.
What's up?
Let's go to Easton Freeman with the $5 donation. Appreciate Easton.
One free man.
Says, morning, boys. Morning to you, sir. Starting off my level 24 campaign.
Yes.
Watching the best show on YouTube.
Yes.
Say it louder for the people in the back. I want to hear your Sweet 16 power rankings. Woo Pig Suey. Fellas.
Ooh, yeah, it's a great time
Congrats
for
on
Arkansas fans
2-4.
right now. Look, can we say something? I know we got the clip of Eric Musselman. Can I go ahead? No, I'm not doing it. I'm not jumping the shark, David. I will not break up our routine this morning. I won't do it for you because I love you as a friend and confidant. All right, here's what we got. Sweet 16 power rankings. All right. Got to go Bama 1, right? I'd go
agree.
Bama 1. I'd actually go Texas 2. I really believe that
like
with
that.
the banged up Houston team, even though they look pretty good. I'm going to go Texas 2. I don't believe in Xavier as much as everybody else. Go ahead and give me UCLA 3.
I like that.
Give me, Tennessee offensively, man. I know they beat up Duke. They drug them in the mud.
Defense, though.
It's that defense is hell. That defense is hell. Now, my 4 may surprise you guys a little bit. Give me San Diego State. Slow style, physical. Parrish and a couple of those guys Bailey can shoot it well enough to be able to cause problems. I'm really interested in that Alabama game. So that was 4 for me. 5, give me Miami. Wong and them are figuring out a way. And then 6, give me Xavier. At 7, I'm going to go. I already said Connecticut, correct? I already said Connecticut?
I don't think
you
said
did.
I didn't. All right, so
Connecticut
let me put Connecticut at 6. So I'll just flip those last 2, and then from there, I mean, it's I think Princeton's a real question to me. They're playing.
You're still not believing in Houston.
Those injuries, man. Auburn didn't score for 10.5 minutes. I know you can give some credit to Houston for that, but there's no adults that play basketball that shouldn't score for 10.5 minutes. I mean, again, they were getting beat by 10 in the first half. This wasn't a very good Auburn team. I mean, if we're going to be honest, when we're looking at the grand scheme of things. But the teams to me, like I said, sprinkle a little bit on FAU before the tournament. Survive.
Smart.
10 to win 2,000. But I tell you, man, I went back and watched a little bit of the Princeton game against Missouri. And I know Missouri is very reliant on three-pointers, and they shot 40% the first game. Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn in Iowa in the second game. But looking at the way Princeton plays, they've got a little bit of everything. You've got a big wing that can shut big wings down, big guards down. You have a good enough post presence. And then you got Alec Pierce's little brother and a couple of these little Haru, the Great White Ninjas running around out there that are absolute cash machines from 3. But they don't turn the ball over. Like it's. I feel like Princeton can really play any style of basketball, which makes you way more dangerous. So when it comes to the top 5 power ranking, I do think San Diego State, to me, is a bad matchup against Alabama. For Alabama, I really believe that.
I think Arkansas could be up there, though. I'd probably put Arkansas in front of Xavier, especially after that win against Kansas. Like I'm telling you, Arkansas's got the guys to win.
Yeah, they do.
Nick Smith Jr. didn't even play good.
Yeah, they got the guys to win it. I mean, I know they haven't had a great year in the regular season, but they have the players to win it. And the must-bust, baby. When March starts coming around, that dude kicks it into another gear. And let's not act like that Kansas team wasn't good.
No,
that Kansas
really
team
good.
was really good. So I still think Arkansas is one of my dark horses. They have a chance. All right, let's go to James Stallings. What's up, James? $2 donations.
Appreciate
Purdue, oh my, laughing emoji faces, like 5 of them.
Yes, I would like to tell a quick, great, true underdog story on Fairleigh Dickinson. 2 minutes into that game, and I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, DraftKings. 2 minutes into that game. Whenever you're watching 16-1s or 15-2s, you can tell within the first 3 to 5 minutes if they're going to have a chance to be competitive in it. Not even win it, but have the dudes. You can tell within the first 3 to 5 minutes of that Purdue-FDU game that FDU was going to be a problem. Once I saw number 2, the Dimitri kid, I think maybe Dimitri Nichols, I may have said that wrong, dribble up and down the court a few times, I was like, okay, this is going to be a problem. Like, they couldn't stay in front of them. They got some good guards. You look at Gillis. I mean, you look at Braden Smith, guys that can really shut people down the perimeter. So I just do a 60-piece on a money line. Plus 20,000. Nailed it with FDU. So I do want to give Fairleigh Dickinson a shout out there. But guys, I mean, we could say same thing about Matt Painter and Purdue a little bit. Now, Purdue doesn't have the winning tradition that Kentucky has. But at what point, what does Purdue have to do to get to a Final Four? Like, what do you need now? You already had the monster from 7. We let you have our monster from 7 Foot Island. And you didn't even get him to the Final Four, Matt.
Just like
you're a painter of
like
losses.
Last year's team they had
with him and Travion Williams? Yeah.
Jaden Ivey. Like, that's like, to me, last year, like, am I surprised by this? Like, Purdue hadn't been a great shooting team all year, especially from the 3, and you saw it against FDU. But the squad they had last year, there's no excuses.
Yeah.
After last year. All right, we got some Wildcat fans in here.
All right, let me hear it.
Let's go to Wildcats volunteer. He says, Cal's a great recruiter, but repeatedly gets outcoached consistently in big moments. Kentucky fans are ready for him to move on.
Yeah, well, my thing is, all I hear is Cal's talking about how good this offense is. Dude, you're running inside zone. You're running archaic stuff. I don't watch Kentucky play, and I'm like, oh, wow, what schematically, they're just doing a ton of different. I think Cal, like you said, is a fantastic recruiter. I think he is a good coach, a good X's and O's coach. I don't think he's a great coach, and I don't think he makes great adjustments, all right? But I think college basketball has gotten to the point now where it's not, you're not going to go out there and just sign all the best players and go out-athlete everybody. Mm-hmm. I think that's what he did at Memphis. I think that's what he did early at Kentucky. And now with the transfer portal and this COVID year, the talent's evened out. Well, not all the way, but it's gotten closer to the center. So what happens when all the talent gets closer to the center? Who wins? The teams with what? The most talent and the most coaching ability. That's where I think Cal's fallen off. We've seen that in college football a little bit with some of the parity that's been introduced from the lower levels to the higher levels and vice versa. So you find out what a coach is made of when it comes down to his ability, not the player's ability. And I don't think he can feed off that anymore.
All right, let's go to Glegby. He says, my dad is a diehard Kentucky basketball fan, and he has lost his faith in Coach Cal.
Yeah, but Cone, you brought up the point. $8.5 million a year. Ooh. If I'm the highest paid person in something, like that'd be like saying, all right, you're the highest paid salesman in the country. I don't care what it is. But you didn't finish in the top 32 in sales in the country. What?
Yeah. One thing that makes it difficult is recruiting in college athletics is such a big part of coaching, and he has done a good job at that. So when he's not developing the talent or making the schematical adjustments in game, you can point at that and say, well, that's bad coaching. But the other half of it, which I think recruiting is half the battle in college athletics, he's doing a good job at that, which frustrates Kentucky fans even more because he has the talent there. I really think the University of Michigan is going to be in this same situation because John Beilein was such a great coach for 10 years, took the Wolverines to 2 national championships. Now they have Juwan Howard, who was a member of the Fab Five, who's coming in, bringing in talent, recruiting really, really well, but it hasn't really developed, and he's not really making the in-game schematic adjustments. That's going to be something they have to deal with, too.
Is Coach Cal turning into Jimbo Fisher? Like, is it getting that? Because does he going to have to bring in a Bobby Petrino? Do you have to bring in your Bobby Petrino to spice it up, do something a little bit different? That's the hardest part for these guys is that ego, right? Saying maybe my way is not the most advantageous way for us anymore in today's game. That's a hard thing for somebody to say, not only in basketball, but in any business. A guy's been doing well in a business for so long, it's hard for him to step back and say, man, you know what? The market's changed. It's a new era. I need to change my thinking to be able to adapt. And that is what makes Nick Saban the greatest football coach of all time, in my opinion. It's not just his ability to get to the mountaintop. It's his ability to stay there while not being stubborn in his own way, as crazy as that may sound to some other people. All right,
let's go to Texas Ed. He wants to know, who's Kentucky need to go get then that's better than Coach Cal?
I think a lot of it is, are you looking in the NBA? Are you looking into college? Because now it's so mixed. I tell you somebody who I think would do fantastic at Kentucky, and y'all can look and laugh and whatever, Jerry Stackhouse.
You think?
I think Jerry Stackhouse would do fantastic at Kentucky. Schematically, to me, he may be the best coach in the SEC. You want to be honest. Like we want to be real about it. Now, recruiting-wise, Kentucky recruits itself. You put a guy like Jerry Stackhouse at Kentucky that has cachet as a player, as a guy that was unbelievably effective in the league, that kids still know who Jerry Stackhouse is and has that swag, that Cal swagger. I'm telling you, I think Jerry Stackhouse, I know they won't do it, but I think that would be a sneaky good hire. They'd go after Nate Oates. Obviously, Chris Beard's going to Ole Miss. Speaking of that, the SEC's not getting any easier in that way or stretch the imagination. But there are guys out there that are very talented coaches that would jump at the opportunity to go to Kentucky. That's like getting a transformer, like having another gun. It's just fantastic.
I'm interested to see if Shaka Smart leaves Marquette at some point for a different school, or maybe even if Sean Miller were to leave Xavier for a second time.
Sean Miller, that would be a Kentucky
he went to Arizona.
Thing. But I wonder with Shaka, though. Shaka already did the Texas thing. The big brand.
So did Sean Miller.
So did Sean Miller. Like, now he's at Marquette. I feel like it's kind of, you're in the Big East. It's a basketball conference. You've got a good following. You've had D Wade there. I mean, Marquette has tradition. I don't know. I feel like it's almost a good spot, but who knows? Will he get the itch again to go back to that big brand after it didn't work out the first time? That's a question that we'll have to see in the future to ask.
All right, you want another one?
Yeah, we'll do one more, and then we're going to get two of them.
Let's go to Greg Hart with a $2 donation. I'll go ahead and bring this up. He says the Detroit Lions are going to be a problem. Made a little good move in free agency.
Yeah, they got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see where the Eagles offered him 12, and he turned it down, and he ended up signing for 8 for the Lions? So, obviously, when it came to leverage, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, I guess, didn't have as much as what he thought. But we're going to get back to the Booster Club. Remember, we have call-ins today. It's 1-855-236-3228. They're starting at 7:15 a.m. Central. That's 8:15 a.m. Eastern. We want to hear what you think about the tournament and everything that we're about to get into. And I want to start, David. You want to go a little best and worst real quick?
Yes, please.
Let's go best and worst NCAA tournament edition. Obviously, we're heavy on the NCAA tournament this morning. My best is Eric Musselman and Arkansas. And really, you could say, I believe one of you has the SEC, but if Arkansas, who just beat Kansas, okay, if they win this next weekend, that'll be 3 straight Elite Eights for Arkansas. Was Arkansas the best team during the regular season? No. I don't think they've been the best team during the regular season since Eric Musselman's been there. But some guys know how to coach in the tournament. Some guys are so elite at getting their teams ready to play at a high level that we consistently see it on the big stage. And say what you want about Eric Musselman. You probably either love him or you either hate him. But I know this. The son of a gun wins in March. And it's only a matter of time before these guys get to a Final Four and win a national championship with the way that he's flipped the recruiting. Now 5 stars are a regular thing in Arkansas that used to not be a thing. This man is getting it done, and he's having a whole hell of a lot of fun doing it. Let's run this clip real quick. You can see here, after the win, the patented Eric Musselman, I'm taking my shirt off and flinging it around. Yes, I'm a grown man. This is me. This is now.
Musselman
this
magic,
is us.
baby.
Musselman magic, calling the hogs. And you know what? Some people don't like that. They'll say, oh, well, Eric Musselman just showboat, whatever. Do you know how many recruits see that and love that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that does for the fan base and the positivity in a world full of negativity when it comes to recruiting? That's huge. There's a reason he's doing it. Now, do I love everything Eric Musselman does? They talk about the handshake thing after a couple games. No, I don't. All right, not everything. But I don't love everything that anybody does. Outside of my fiance Reed and Mama T, who's at the house right now, outside of y'all too. But I think this is great for Arkansas. And there's a video of him with Devo Davis after the game, and you can just tell how much those players love this man. And if you want to really get the most out of somebody in clutch moments, you have to really love each other. And we've all been part of it, understand it. But when you watch that, it just reinforces more that Eric Musselman is ultra competitive, almost to a fault, which I would rather my coach be that way than the other. But he really, really cares about his guys, and his guys really, really care about him. And that's how you win in big moments.
I'm an Eric Musselman fan.
For sure.
And he's a fan of the show.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, he's got the gear. We need to get him some Crane & Company gear. He's got that old J-Boy show gear. We need to get Coach Musselman on the show, actually.
No, what a huge win for them. This, to Blaine's point, this was a good Kansas team. Really good Kansas team they just beat. And your 2 projected top 7 picks in Nick Smith Jr. and Anthony Black didn't even play that well.
I know, that's the craziest
That's what's
part.
Neither one of them. Talking about Devo Davis coming out of nowhere, Ricky Council the fourth coming out of nowhere, just putting up big points when it matters most. Walsh with big-time steals down the stretch against Kansas, and then just give yourself a chance late. That's what so many of these tournament games come down to. Keep it close so you have a chance late, just like we saw in the Furman, Virginia game, right? You know you're going to hit that shot after you get a big-time turnover.
Yeah, well, again, it's Devo Davis, I think, has been the straw that stirred that drink, and we've talked about it the whole year. But the fact that they're able to not only win, but come back and win with 2 of their best players, including probably their highest NBA draft pick and their point guard, who's also maybe a lottery pick, not playing well, just shows you the team ability that Arkansas has.
You say it all the time when it comes to the tournament. Like, you'll have the athletes, it's not great, but what do you want to trust on at the end of the day in the tournament? Old guards.
Yep.
Old guards. And what does Arkansas have? 1, great talent, and 2, old guards. I mean, Ricky Council, Jr., Debo, Jr., these guys who've been there, guys you can trust. So, and that's Musselman for you, though. That's what he does. He recruits the talent. He has guys he can trust on late in games, and you can see him develop it over the year. And I still think he saves his best stuff for the tournament. He's one of those guys who saves his best stuff for the tournament. And what a win. I mean, Blue Bloods like Duke, see ya. Kansas, see ya. I mean, you got UCLA and Indiana in the mix, Kentucky.
Not Indiana.
Not Indiana anymore. But It's just, am I surprised? No. Like, NBA players.
Well,
like, scheme matters so much. Let's go and get to the scheme. It's a little bit different, I guess, nowadays than it was a little bit in the past. But scheme matters to a certain extent. Players win you games. All right, FDU went out here just running some phenomenal scheme. Number 2 for FDU looked like an NBA player.
Yeah.
I mean, so like players win you, especially national championships. Scheme won't take you so far.
But like we just talked about, which players? A lot of times it's the older ones who are more experienced, because the 3 guys in this game who are projected the highest picks in the NBA draft, we just talked about 2 of them for Arkansas didn't have their best game. The other one, Grady Dick, for Kansas, disappeared.
Well,
this kid's on the back of a milk carton the last 10 minutes. He didn't even touch the basketball.
Well, it's, again, how many one-and-done teams have actually won it? I can think of one, Anthony Davis in Kentucky, because Anthony Davis just absolutely dominated in every aspect of those games, of that NCAA tournament. He's one of the most dominant players that I've ever seen. But speaking about old, all right, if you're played center, forward, or guard, look, we all age, and as we age, our body loses free testosterone, all right? And you pay for that. Our energy drops, our libido falls, and we start to lose muscle. But when Nugenix Total T, testosterone booster, it helps you turn back the clock and re-energize your workouts. The Benjamin Button phenomenon. With Nugenix Total T, they contain man-boosting ingredients like testofen that's validated in 5 clinical studies and backed by years of research in laboratories. Unlike other products that use generic ingredients, which are far less than clinical grade, Nugenix Total T gives you the same clinical potency levels used in trials, so re-energize your life with Nugenix Total T. And if you text CRANE, C-R-A-I-N, to 231-231, you get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Text now, and you'll also get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix Thermo. Why, David? Because that fat is out of here,
Get it on
mister.
outta here.
Their most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text CRAIN to 231-231. That's CRAIN to 231-231.
Man, we're gonna have the most fit fans ever.
We will.
Like, this is just
FitBod,
a platoon of Booster
Nugenix
Club
Total
members.
T.
Math and push-ups.
You know, if you take Nugenix Total T and do FitBod, rumor has it you turn into Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I'm loving
I
this.
did hear that.
That sounds fantastic. I would love that. But what's your best and worst, Coney?
Oh, my best. I got to go Tennessee to start.
Yep.
Tennessee. That Tennessee-Duke game, it looked like a championship matchup.
Fight.
I'm telling you, it turned into a football game. I know some Duke fans, wanted more fouls called throughout. Tennessee just absolutely suffocated them. Now, Filipowski played his way through it and, didn't completely disappear like we were talking about Grady Dick. But, man, the way Tennessee just turned the defensive screws on, it was phenomenal to watch. They shot 43% from 3 and held Duke to 27% shooting from 3-point. Now, if they could play like that without their starting point guard, Zakai Ziegler. So if they could play like that each round, this is a team that can play in the championship.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, well, it's Tennessee defensively, we've known, right? We've talked about this. Tennessee is one of the best defense. I think number for number, they were the best defense in the country, I think, throughout the year. But shooting 40% from 3, if they're going to do that, the question's always been offense. That's why when Zakai went out, everybody's like, all right, they're done because they're not going to be able to score enough points. I can just see in my mind Rick Barnes, like Coach Red Bayou from The Waterboy when like Tennessee was in the locker room before the game. And he's just like when he tried to take Coach Klein's playbook. And he's like, if you don't give me that, it's going to get awfully physical out here. I can just see Rick Barnes looking at his players and just being like, all right, guys, before we go out, I just want you to know one thing. It needs to be awfully physical out there.
That's what his demeanor was during the halftime interview.
Like,
he's like, yeah, we're playing pretty good on defense. I'm happy with that.
When your point guard gets hurt, it kind of lowers the expectations a little bit, right? Maybe that's helped Tennessee.
That's what I thought would help.
Maybe that's helped Tennessee.
That's what I thought would help
think about
Kentucky
that.
this year.
Yeah,
coming in as a 6 seed, right?
Sure.
And look, they beat a good Providence team, But yeah, this was a tall task for Tennessee, and they stepped up to the plate.
They really did.
They beat them thoroughly.
It was an older brother, little brother situation.
Kamwa said they wanted it. Literally, Kamwa after the game, who Kamwa shot better than I've ever seen him shoot in my life.
28 points or something?
He went nuts in the second half.
He didn't miss a shot. I know.
It was like Funk from Penn State against Texas. It didn't hit the rim.
So you're not going to have that each round, right?
No.
You're not going to have that each round, but that's why defense travels. This is why I picked them in last year's tournament, because they played so well throughout the regular season and they were hot. but that defense too was, really good.
But now the question, you run into an FAU team that it's a lot harder to. I would much rather face Duke's offense than FAU's offense.
Well, Duke couldn't get anything going in transition. They just were willing to play in the half court against Tennessee. Best of luck.
Yeah.
Best of luck if you're going to play in the half court the entire game against Tennessee.
I agree with you 100%.
Next best, Princeton. Look, it has to be talked about. I know we talked about it a little bit with some of the Booster Club questions, but you want to go beat the number two seed Arizona and then follow that up with a double-digit win over this Missouri team with Kobe Brown can play basketball, man.
For sure.
You know? So just it's this is what makes March great. This team, first of all, I took Yale in the Ivy League championship on one of our show bets that day. Princeton beats them. Then they beat Arizona. Like, I'm not doing it again. I'm gonna take them against Missouri. Show up big time. You love to see it.
I wouldn't be shocked if Princeton made the Final Four. I really would not be surprised.
Ooh.
I really wouldn't. Again, if you've watched Princeton, the way they play, they don't make mistakes. Like, they don't turn the ball over. They don't get shot clock violations. They make you earn your baskets, and they take what you will give them. It's just like playing a quarterback that will throw the check down. I hated it as a defensive guy because most guys are too greedy. You will not speed Princeton up. You will not get Princeton to do something that they do not want to do. Now, they're either hitting shots or they're not. That's what it comes down to. But playing the style, the not conservative style, but not turning the ball over, man, that translates in any sport.
I mean, right now they got Creighton, and
Winnable.
they win that game, they'll play the winner of the Alabama-San Diego State game. Right now they're 9.5-point dogs.
I would take that 9.5 right now.
Yeah.
I'll take it right now.
They were, what was it, 15 or what was it?
I think they were 12.5.
12.5.
Yeah, it was double digits.
Yeah.
It was double digits for sure.
Yeah.
FDU was going off at 15.5.
That's why I took them. 15.5.
I took that in a second. Then I was like, I'll
that
take
was
a money
an
line,
easy
too.
bet.
Dude, I'm telling like those lines, I think to a certain extent, I mean, I know Vegas knows, but I feel like if the little bit gray area that you can find in Vegas is March Madness games.
Yeah, well, again, if the regular season is anything like the regular season last year, I am taking the underdog to cover. Not win in every game, but to any spread over 6 points, I'm taking the underdog to cover it. How many blowouts have we really had? I can't remember 3 or 4 blowouts off the top of my head. Outside, I know Bama ran away from CC, but CC was in that game a little bit. I mean, it's wild. It's totally
my worst has to be Purdue.
Yeah.
Has to be Purdue. All respect due in the world to Fairleigh Dickinson. And that point guard, Dimitri Roberts, that kid could go play for any team in the country. I'm talking like it was just incredible
You wanna
watching
come,
this man dribble the basketball.
come.
But this loss
Hunter
still
Dickinson.
is unacceptable. And this is why I picked this team to be the first number 1 seed to lose. What did I tell you guys? And I hate it because I'd love to see Matt Painter and Purdue cut down the nets at some point. But despite having a 7'4" center who may be the player of the year, I said this team has younger guards and they don't shoot it well enough, especially if you're not going to be able to get the entry passes to Zach Edey in the low post, which they weren't able to do. Fairleigh Dickinson just put 4 guys on him, suffocated him, and then you're not hitting shots.
And the craziest part was all 4 of those guys added up to 7'5".
There you go. And what I say, like Zach Edey I said, Purdue will most likely lose in the second round to Memphis, and Zach Edey will still have a double-double. He'll have 24 and 12.
You did say
well, it was the first round. They didn't even make it to play Memphis, and he had 21 and 15.
Yeah.
So he did have his double-double, but Purdue just couldn't shoot it well enough and make enough plays.
Well, it's funny when you got the FDU. FDU is the smallest team in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
And what they did to Zach Edey, you've talked about it on the show, they got Zach Edey out wide and just ran by him. Because FDU really doesn't have a true 5. Like a true 5. So Zach Edey couldn't stay in front of him and Purdue can't shoot. I'm telling you, they're America's.
Well, it's like seeing ants, like when you watch those Discovery Channel shows, and it's like there's like a buffalo that's laying down, and there's like a couple ants on them. Then all of a sudden, 30 seconds later, there's a trillion ants on them. And it's like the thing's like dissolving. That's what FDU is like to me. They're like when the ants or like termites just fly over and just like,
FDU wasn't afraid to take any shot.
For sure.
No.
Any shot.
Meanwhile, Purdue shot 19% from 3 and had 16 turnovers.
I think Purdue was shocked. I think they were legitimately shocked.
FDU was letting them shoot threes.
Yeah.
You go back and watch that game, shoot it.
Yeah.
They had one guy, especially late, can't remember his name, but he was hitting a couple shots. Other than that,
Gillis.
couldn't trust anybody to shoot a 3 on that team.
Yep.
My best, I'm going to go with the SEC.
Talk to him, dog.
I think the SEC right now, if you go back and look at it, has the most wins out of any conference in the tournament.
Most teams left.
Most teams left. Arkansas just beat a number 1 seed. I mean, Kentucky kind of blew it. But right now you have Alabama, who's probably the favorite to win it all. You have a Tennessee team without their point guard right now who just suffocated a blue blood. So right now, look, we say this all the time. When the SEC decides to start caring about stuff, I don't care if it's basketball, football, ultimate frisbee, or a hot dog eating contest, they're coming to whip your ass, and they don't care how you feel about it. So I think the SEC right now, I would say SEC in the Big 12.
Yeah,
probably the top 2. Obviously, you can throw the Big East in there too. But SEC, one of the best conferences in basketball right now, and they're showing that in the tournament. Then I go back to my worst. This is not surprising, but let me tell you why I picked this. It's not because I'm an Auburn fan, but it's because of what this Auburn team was. You walk into up 10 at halftime. You're playing better than Houston. All right, then you walk away from that game almost losing by 20.
Yeah,
you shoot 50% from the free throw line. And it's not only this game. You go back and look at through the whole year for Auburn. Second halves come down to what? It comes down to coaching and schematics. That's what it does. To a certain extent, you have the guys. I don't feel like you go back and watch that Houston and that Auburn game that Houston was that more talented than Auburn. I mean, Sasser's an NBA player, but Auburn has enough talent to at least keep it close that game, especially walking in up 10 at halftime. So another year where Auburn disappoints. Obviously, last year with Jabari and Walker Kessler was more of a disappointment, but another year where you're up at half, you're playing great, and you don't score for almost 10 minutes in a basketball game. You could get us 3 together, 2 other guys from here. We're at least scoring 2.
Yeah, well, like my thing is this. Bruce Pearl's phenomenal coach. Obviously, what he's done at Auburn's been incredible. But it seems like since Auburn's profile has been raised and they're getting all these 5 stars, it's almost gone against how Bruce Pearl got to where he was. Like, if you think about his teams, they weren't typically littered with 5 stars, but they were talented guys that were 4 stars that had that dog in them, that were gritty, that when the moment came, the second half, they were at their best. In clutch moments, they were at their best. In big games, they were at their best. I mean, he's taken 3 different teams to the Sweet 16, one of the very few coaches that have done that. But now it seems like Auburn's kind of got these prima donnas that choke on the big stage. You choke in the second half. It seems like the opposite of Bruce Pearl. I think Auburn, look, in signing 5 stars, I get it. It's great and all this stuff. But at some point, you got to go back and get some gritty guys. And I think they thought they had that with Wendell Green. I mean, Wendell Green hadn't hit a clutch shot since he's been at Auburn, since the time's been going down. But it's not just him. I mean, the ability of Auburn to come through in basketball in the second half, I don't know if it's as much about scheme, Blaine, as they don't got guys that have that dog in them anymore, like Jared Harper and Bryce. You go back to those Tennessee teams that had success with Bruce Pearl. I think he's got to get back to bringing in guys that are those guys from FDU weren't 5 stars. Those guys, some of these guys we're watching, like at FAU, they weren't 4 or 5 stars. You know what they are? They're damn good basketball players that know how to play and want the moment. So I think kind of raising Auburn's profile has been fantastic for Auburn, but getting in these kind of pretty boy, prima donna 5-star guys and some of these transfers that are a little bit prima donna, I think has cost Auburn when it's come down to making plays at the end. Now, does that mean I don't want Jabari Smith Jr. or Walker Kessler? No, but I think you need the right type of them and surround those guys with those gritty 3 stars and 4 stars. Auburn just doesn't have that anymore. A lot of it's just being able to come through in the clutch.
Well, this is what I would say about FDU and FAU. You watch them play, they know who they are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
They know they play inside of the system. But when you watch Auburn play, that's why you think the difference is you go on a 10-minute drought.
How does that happen?
You're guessing. I mean, you're not really solidified in a certain play, because I always get surprised when I ever see Auburn run more than a high top on a 3 pick and roll. I get surprised because you don't see that a lot. They're just out there playing in a gym somewhere instead of playing really organized basketball. So that's my worst. You want to get some Booster Club?
So hold on. So just to recap, your best is SEC basketball.
Yes.
But your worst is an SEC basketball team.
True.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, that's why the tournament's so big. You can play both of those.
Yeah.
I know.
2 things can be true at once. Phone lines are open. Make sure you get those call-ins. Let us know what you think about all the crazy stuff that's going on right now in sports. That's 1-855-236-3228. 1-855-236-3228. Man, that one's in the memory bank. Never leaving now, baby. Photographic memory out here taking photos. Let's get to the Booster Club questions real quick. I know we got rapid fire.
All right, let's go to Rolly Season with a $2 donation. He says, who is better for Tennessee to play right now, KSU or MSU, and why?
Oh, I would. This is a tough one. You're making me pick between Noel, Keontae Johnson, and then Tyson Walker, who's
Tough.
You want to talk about tough when it get gritty, big shot taker, big shot maker. I'm going to say I would still rather play Michigan State because I don't trust Joey Hauser. Look, I know Sissoko down low gives them a big presence. They're playing really connected right now. Those three, Hauser was nuts starting out the game. But when I look at Kansas State, Keontae Johnson and Noel together scare me to death. Keontae Johnson, if you remember, was the guy at Florida who basically, collapsed, who had the heart problem, had to sit out a year, transfers to Kansas State, hit a big three last night. What Coach Tang has done for Kansas State basketball coming in after replacing Bruce Weber has been absolutely fantastic. Love to watch that guy coach as well. I would still rather play Michigan State than Kansas State right now.
All right, let's go to Ryan Gade with a $2 donation. Appreciate it. He says, is this the craziest first 2 rounds you have ever seen in March Madness?
Now I did see something, Cone. I thought you would find this fascinating. This is the 6th consecutive tournament. Because we always, when March Madness comes, it's like, oh, the crazy upsets, like it's all crazy. 6th consecutive tournament that the defending national champion didn't make the Sweet 16. This is the
There you go.
4th time in the last, I think since 2016 or somewhere around there, that 2 1 seeds did not make it to the Sweet 16. So we've seen this before. But from an upset standpoint, it has been the craziest to me. But just from a total competitive ability, not how hard you play, but how hard you can play and effective you can be from 1 seed to a 16 seed, I have never seen it more spread out and even.
It's
than
amazing.
This. That's the way I've seen it. I mean, there's not one game that, going back and looking through this, that I look at and I'm like, man, like, all right, this one's going to be totally easy going forward. It's just from top to bottom, from 16 seed to 1 seed. I have never seen it this even. And I love it. As a fan, I can just totally gobble it up. All right, real quick, one more.
Let's go to Green Wave 03. He says, hey, guys, need some advice. I'm in a survivor pool for a lot of money. I'm painting myself into a corner. I need to take MSU or Arkansas Thursday, but more importantly, I need to use the other team in Saturday. If they can both advance to the Elite Eight or both win their games, can you give a better shot of getting to the Final Four? Arkansas or MSU?
Oh, man. So the winner of Kansas State and Michigan State will play the winner of FAU and Tennessee. Yeah. All right, so he needs one to pick to win, right? Mm-hmm. That's what he's saying.
Yep.
I would take, between Arkansas and Michigan State.
Take Michigan State.
I mean, take this and flip a coin, dog.
I mean, Arkansas's got to get through UConn and then either Gonzaga or UCLA.
Yeah, I think UCLA may sneak around and win this thing. But no, I'm with Cone.
Also, before we move on from college basketball, UCLA and Miami both were teams that had injuries coming into the tournament. I mean, O'Meara from Miami's just out here like, nothing was wrong with me, guys. I'm fine.
Yeah.
They went toe-to-toe with Trace Jackson Davis for Indiana, and look, now they found themselves in the Sweet 16.
What did we say 3 weeks before the tournament? Who did I say are 2 of my Final Four teams? Houston and Miami. Well, now when you look at it, I mean, it's impossible. Yeah, like, they got beat up, and then we kind of moved away from it. But when you look at, and this is before the tournament was announced, I mean, obviously, to make it to the Final Four, Houston is playing Miami in the Sweet 16. So that would have been an impossibility. But they are who we thought they were. Let's get to rapid fire.
All right, rapid fire. First one up here. Yeah, Papew. The National Hockey League continues to promote LGBTQ Pride Night initiatives, and the San Jose Sharks goalie stood up and said, no, I'm not participating in this. He put out this long statement here, but essentially, in this specific instance, I am choosing not to endorse something that is counter to my personal convictions, which are based on the Bible, the highest authority in my life. The NHL just continues to promote this.
Now we've talked about these Pride Nights. Y'all know what we think about it. I just don't think we should bring the bedroom to the ballpark. I don't want hetero night. I don't want I rub a balloon while I look at the stove naked night either. I just want to go to the game and like not worry about who everybody's sleeping with. But this is not only bad like theory when it comes to just doing it, but it's also bad business. Like it's bad logic and it's bad business. Like, does the NHL not have any idea who their demographic or market is? Like, I really think they don't. Do you think, like, there's just people piling into gay bars to watch the Sharks play the Penguins? No. Who are you, Mark? Is this just for sponsors? If you don't care about ticket sales anymore and it's just ad revenue and TV rights, then say it. then say it. But that would be the only way that this would make sense in my mind to do. Because just from take out whether you believe in gay marriage, any of that stuff, just whatever you think, take that out. It's just bad business. All right? I'm not out here trying to sell chocolate to anorexic people. Okay? I'm not out here trying to sell gloves to handless people. Why are you out here promoting let's be gay together night at the hockey game to hockey fans? Like, I don't understand this. Like, the business model, just explain it to me. I'm not the smartest. You're not going to find me on Shark Tank with Mark Cuban and the boys listening to pitches, but I'm also not the dumbest person of all time. I don't understand this.
You know, when Facebook really got huge and was all over the planet, there was this idea that the people using Facebook are not the customers. You're the product. You're the eyeballs.
Yeah.
Our customers are the sponsors. It seems like that has now taken hold in professional sports, where the people watching the sports are no longer the customers. You're almost the product along with the sport, and the customers are the sponsors. And so it seems like all this activity is now just to appease whoever has the naming rights to your stadium, or whichever, Coca-Cola or these Fortune 50 companies. It's gotten out of hand when we talk about there's an entire month now dedicated to this, right? LGBTQ pride initiatives or whatever. And now in the middle of March, we're also going to have a night. Well, I pulled up a list here of just all the different nights that you can have at the ballpark here. You got Bisexual Awareness Week, Celebrate Bisexuality Day, Gender Fluid Visibility Week, Drag Day, International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia, International Day of Pink, Intersex Awareness Day, Intersex Day of Remembrance, Lesbian Day, Lesbian Visibility Day, National Coming Out Day, Non-Binary Awareness Week. It goes on and on.
Straight Day?
It goes none. Pronouns Day, which that's the third week, the third Wednesday in October, playing on Pronouns Day. Trans Awareness Month, Trans Awareness Week, Transgender Day of Remembrance. It goes on and on. Every night. Every night.
Listen, can y'all just stop? We don't care. It's 2023, okay? You're gay. Great. I'm straight. Can we go to the hockey game? Gotta maybe bring your dog to the rink night. Or Veterans Day at the ballpark. Why has it turned into this? I blame Dylan Mulvaney. That's who I blame.
This was going on before him.
Nah,
right?
Somehow it's his fault.
Okay.
And I say his because that's a dude.
It doesn't matter if you're gay or not. Just try every night, just come up with something new and just try to shove it down everybody's throat.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it is. What you just read, I don't even know half the things you just said.
Yeah, what did you say?
Well, you better know.
I don't
You better know. You better not skip that game either.
We're probably going to get to a point soon where, if you don't wear this jersey or whatever it is, you're cut. Go find another team. Go play in Russia. It's going to happen soon, because if the NHL's doing it, hell, I saw the NASCAR do it the other day.
Yeah.
If NASCAR's doing it, there's not much left.
Well, what's going to happen is
there's not much left.
There's only one way to stop it, because these people speak in one language. It isn't straight, it isn't gay, it isn't trans, it's money. That's the language they speak. You hit them in the wallet, that's where it hurts. But they're acting like it doesn't matter if you show up to the game or not now, like Cone said. The customers, it seems, are the sponsors,
and it's
not the fans.
It's almost playoff time.
Yeah,
in hockey.
Yeah,
what a time to do this! And I don't want to hear, because the last time they did it, because the first thing you saw of it was the hockey Twitter. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. They put something out, and the only thing I got told was don't worry about it. It's just probably someone in Twitter who just put that out, and the owners didn't really know. None of that anymore.
No.
All right, this is an agenda that is blatantly getting pushed. And if you're a hockey fan, I promise you, I wouldn't be surprised if we look either today or tomorrow and this guy's jersey sold.
I just feel bad for the gay people that don't want to get this shoved on everybody else, who just want to live their lives and love who they want to love. And again, if you agree with it or disagree with it, who just want to be treated like everybody else. They don't want a special night. They don't want a special week. Because I'll say this again. I feel like people whose identity is just based on their sexual preference are really just talentless. They won't be known for anything else. Dylan Mulvaney was a failed actor as a gay man. So what does he do? Pretend to be a little girl, pretend to be a woman, and now he's one of the most famous, quote unquote, women that there. It's a trick. Have y'all not figured this out yet? Open your eyes. It's a trick.
Bigot.
I know. Well, look. It's like Bob Knight said, y'all can bury me upside down so my critics can kiss my ass. That's how much I care.
Clever.
Thank you.
Look,
Thank
leave it
you.
to Bobby. Bobby knows the deal.
Bobby does know the
They'll
deal.
throw a chair at you. You didn't even
For
know
sure.
Golly.
He'll throw a chair at you whether you're gate straight,
matter.
whatever.
Equal opportunity.
Equal opportunity
Equal
chair
opportunity
throw.
coach.
You love to see
That's
it.
what it's about.
God,
Love to see
Indiana could have used him yesterday. Huh?
They could have. That one shocked me, honestly. I had Indiana sneaky.
All right, you want some calls?
Let's get to calls.
Because Tyler called in from Florida, and I want to hear what Tyler has to say.
T. Weiler.
Tyler, what's going on?
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Doing good, man. How's it going out there in Florida?
Right now it's 38 degrees.
God, I know. We're dealing with that up here, man. Will it just heat up? I thought global warming was the thing. Will it globally warm
Someone
the
needs
hell
to
up?
find that groundhog. And
Yeah.
Even worse, I'm a teacher and I'm on spring break and you can't even go anywhere to the beach or anything. It's freezing.
Man,
Oh,
look,
they
we're
got out
praying
in high
for you,
school.
T. Oh, what's your call sign though? You got to call and let us know your call. Do you have a call sign you've come up with yet?
Yeah, I'm going with hurricane.
Hurricane.
Ooh.
We need to start. All right, we're going to start writing these down too. So when you call in, give us your call sign. We started this last week. I loved it.
That's a good
We had one that said his name was Two Eagles.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's a good
I like that one. So what you got, Tyler?
Well, a couple things. One, because we're all in the trust tree.
Yes.
So, back in December, right before, 10 days before Christmas, I came down with COVID and was in a bad headspace because I'm a Christmas freak.
Yeah.
But y'all helped me out. Y'all gave me something to look forward to because, like I said, I'm a teacher, so I couldn't even, go to this work and tell my kids Merry Christmas, have a good Christmas, and all that stuff. So I was kind of in a little funk. But y'all helped me out because I had something to look forward to. Y'all show is awesome. I'm not much older than you guys, so I remember when sports shows was funny about sports. And so I really appreciate y'all bringing that back. Y'all have done wonders for sports talk and everything.
Oh, well,
So
Tyler, man, we
just
really
wanted to say
appreciate
thank
that,
y'all.
man. That's
you,
the goal.
Tyler.
We appreciate you. We're glad you're better, man. And, I think in today's world, some teachers, get a bad rap in a couple things, but you guys know how important you are, and you guys really are shaping the future. So we appreciate you, too.
Tyler, quick question here.
it. And
If you're a Christmas
yes, sir.
freak, how early do you put the Christmas tree up?
Yes.
And how
This
late
is
do you
what we
leave
need
it
to
up?
I put it up before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Bold move.
Sometime but usually around Veterans Day because that's when we know I'm off.
There we go.
Veterans Day off. So I usually take that day to decorate the inside of my house.
Yes.
There you
Some
go,
people
man.
here
Yeah,
at the
I'm
Daily
afraid.
Wire wouldn't approve of that, but we sure as hell do, Tyler. Never forget it.
One more thing, also, I just wanted to say, go Canes.
There we go.
Ooh,
Hey, look,
they
y'all
look
are rocking
good.
and rolling. This matchup versus Houston, I mean, it may come down to how O'Meary and Jarris Walker. That's what I'm
It
looking
took the
forward
first 2 minutes of the first round matchup against Drake when I saw Amir just
Just
bounding
running like,
down
oh
the
my
court,
God.
and I wanted to just erase.
to. Well, I tell you what, this may be the best guard matchup we've had in the tournament yet.
Yeah, Houston,
Nigel
Miami,
Pack
yep.
and Isaiah Wong
Yep.
versus Shed and Marcus Sasser. If you love basketball, then you just inject that straight in my veins.
Yeah,
But,
and if they get past that, think about you could potentially face a Texas team,
Yeah.
which also
Marcus
is kind of
Carr,
guard heavy.
Tyrese
Like you wouldn't
Hunter.
have to face like a legitimate, like a dominant front court situation until possibly the Final Four, which
Yeah.
could be exciting for
Which,
Miami.
now front courts after what FDU did to Purdue. Who the hell cares anymore about a front court? But
Yeah.
call sign Hurricane, our buddy Tyler from Florida. Tyler, thanks, man.
Appreciate it, man. All right, Kirk from New Brunswick, Canada. Let's go up north a little bit, see what Kirk has to say. What's going on, man?
Hey, boys.
Hey, Kirk, can you hear us?
I can.
There we go.
There we go. I got you. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good. It's all
Hey,
good.
guys-
What's your call sign? Give us your call sign. Do you have one?
I was just thinking about that. I'm like, you're going to ask me a call sign, and you're going to have to let me think about that a little
That's
bit.
fine. That's fine. This is a very
Sure.
important decision.
Take your time, get it
It's
right,
one of the.
you know?
It's like college. It's not a 4-year decision. This is a 40-year decision.
Yeah, we'll talk to you on
I want to make
Wednesday.
it right.
The next time I call in, you guys will get my call sign for sure.
Love it. Love it.
The guy said it's 38 degrees in Florida. It's 38 degrees up here in Canada, and we don't know what to do with all this heat.
I love it.
Sun's out,
I love
baby.
it. Yeah, he's outside in shorts and sunglasses right now, drinking a summer shandy.
Oh, man.
Kurt, can you hear us?
Guess it was too hot.
Oh, it was too hot.
That's what he wanted to say.
Kirk,
All right,
think
Kirk.
about that call sign and call us back.
Call
my
back
friend.
in, Kirk.
Isn't that just funny how 38 degrees can mean two totally different things?
Oh,
Depending on where you're at.
All right, let's see what Gavin's talking about in Pennsylvania. Gavin, how's the weather in Pennsylvania?
Yeah,
man?
what is it, 39?
It's cold. It's supposed to be in the 50s here today, though. So it's
Okay, good. What's you got a call sign for us, Gavin?
Fan the flames.
Fan the
And
flames.
those flames, baby.
Does that have something to do with Liberty?
Yeah, that kind of leads into like kind of my sadness from this weekend. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I got to see the last game of Darius McGee. Shout out to him because he was the GOAT of Liberty basketball. So
I watched him not only in the game yesterday against Wisconsin, but I watched him in the conference tournament. That dude's just a walking around bucket. I know he probably isn't going to play in the NBA. You never really know, but I think he's going to be able to play professionally, probably overseas. I do got to tell you, in that Wisconsin game, I had Wisconsin -3.5 yesterday, Gavin. And you watched that game like I watched that game. That was a tight cover by the hook, my friend.
I'll just put it this way. I enjoyed the game regardless of the outcome just because it was a good basketball game all around.
It really was. I love y'all's the freshman point guard, the little white kid. What is it, Porter? Man, that kid's going to be special. Like, he hit some big shots in the tournament as well.
And he's a reclassified. He's supposed to be a senior in high school. Right?
I know. He's a baby.
Yeah. But anyways, my question would be is what kind of happened this last week? Is it really a sign of real parity in college basketball, or do you think it's just the big dogs not showing up like they should?
Well, look, I think a lot of things are circumstantial, right? But when you take a whole view of the tournament, I think you can generalize some things. And I think we would be remiss if we didn't bring up the COVID year and the transfer portal, how it's transformed the game. But see, it hasn't just transformed the game, because what do we hear about in football all the time? Oh, well, the rich are always going to get richer, and they do to some certain extent. But the transfer portal is a little bit different because that door opens both ways. Yes, there are players in smaller leagues that go to bigger teams that are able to shine that may not in the past, but there's also talented players that are going down a level, or maybe to a team or brand that's not as big, that are very talented due to playing time, whether that be early or late. So I think it's a balancing scale, and I think it's gone back and forth, and we've met somewhere in the center. Because if you've watched the tournament before, it was one thing to watch UMBC beat Virginia. Okay, that happened one way. Watching it on display basically through 1 seeds and 2 seeds and 3 seeds, and the competitive talent and nature and ability of these smaller teams is closer than the big dogs. So now, if you're a big dog, not only are you not that much more talented anymore, you better show up and play a good game or you're going to get beat. So to answer your question, I think it's a little bit of both, but we cannot we cannot sit here and say that it's just some anomaly because of the COVID year and because of the transfer portal.
And the sport of basketball benefits the most from some of this movement when
Agreed.
it comes to the transfer portal, because if you play college football or college baseball, you have to stay for a minimum of 3 years. Well, everyone you're trotting out there on the field, these great college football teams are going to have upperclassmen who can lead the way.
Yep.
You may have, some of these blue blood college basketball programs who are led by freshmen and sophomores. I think that's one of the situations that Duke kind of ran into. Some of their better players on the team were freshmen, whereas you might run into a team like a Fairleigh Dickinson or something like that, where you've kept this, or even a Drake team, even though they lost in the first round, the youngest players were like 23 and 24 on the team, and they've kept that core together for a long time.
And also like College of Charleston. College of Charleston had a point guard named Kyle Larson, who had played for 4 years at Wofford. Very, very competitive team. Transfer over to be their point guard. That's not a portal move that's people are going to be like, oh my God, Oscar Tshiebwe is going from West Virginia to Kentucky. People aren't going to talk about that. But in the tournament, getting to the tournament, that matters. That's how you win 30 games. That's how you're competitive against a team like San Diego State and things like that. So I think it's been great for the game.
Appreciate it, Gavin. Thanks so much
Gav.
for calling, man. All right, let's go to Colton in Cleveland. Colton, what's going on?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Coltonius, what's your call sign?
Well, in the chat, I'm Ohio versus Trains, and I'm kind of proud of that one, so I'll keep that one.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Love that.
So, kind of piggybacking off what Tyler said, I think you guys are kind of changing the game on sports commentary, and kind of the best thing to happen to it since Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith were on First Take together. So,
Man, we appreciate that. Keep spreading the word, my friend.
so my question for you is this is the first bracket that I've filled out, and kind of looking down through it, what has been the biggest game in this tournament series so far that you guys have had kind of upsets, or like the biggest thing to kind of throw your bracket off?
Oh, well, Arizona losing just gutted me. Just gutted me because, look, in my bracket, I'm still doing okay, but them and Duke, because I had Duke going a long way. Because I thought you could have made the argument, and I mean, I think you still can, that Duke was playing better than anybody in the country, and they ran up against a Tennessee team that got them in the corner and just started hitting them and never stopped. And they were never able to get out of the corner. The Arizona one just absolutely ripped my guts out. The one I was the most disappointed in and upset that I picked that didn't happen was Kennesaw State over Xavier. Kennesaw State was up 17 points, I think, with 11 and a half minutes to go in that game, 12 minutes to go in that game, and then went 8 minutes without a field goal. Xavier was able to come back and win by 1. That one was probably the one I'm the most upset about, because you love calling the upsets. I love getting the upsets right more than obviously getting my number one team knocked out.
I mean, Fairleigh Dickinson over Purdue, I couldn't have even told you where that school was before this tournament started. And then Purdue sitting there at 29-5, maybe have the player of the year in Zach Edey. For that upset to happen, that's incredible, and you really know it's March time. For an upset that I picked that didn't happen, NC State over Creighton, I was really disappointed in NC State.
When NC State
they looked out of shape, they looked sloppy, they just didn't come out to play.
Yeah, Terquavion Smith I was shocked that Jarkel Joyner wasn't.
Hey, Terquavion Smith, though, Greenville, North Carolina's finest.
Shout out.
Where I was born, baby.
Shout out.
Well, the thing about it is, like, Creighton really didn't surprise me, but it's got to be Purdue losing and Arizona losing, especially who they lost to. I mean, Princeton, you lost to Princeton. You have Zach Edey, a guy you got out of a cave, right? Who's the biggest? He's a foot taller than everybody on the court. Y'all can't beat Princeton. Hell, Princeton might.
It was Fairleigh Dickinson.
Or Fairleigh Dickinson, and then you look at Princeton. You beat an Arizona team. I think it says more about Arizona than it says about Princeton. Another year, the Arizona coming with extremely high talent and completely blowing it in the tournament.
That's why I won't hire guys.
Am I surprised by this? No, I'm not. I'm like, I still think maybe the best win all is Arkansas beating Kansas.
Yeah,
I really think that might be the best win all tournament.
Yeah, I think you can make a great argument for that.
How's your bracket looking, Colton?
Oh, it's terrible.
You too?
Listen. I'm dead serious when I say this. If you watched any college basketball or college basketball, at this point, if your bracket isn't screwed up, then you guessed. You 100% guessed, or you did not watch college basketball.
My best one I have right now is 88%.
Well, it goes back to what Blaine said. At this point, we might as well just play the tournament and nothing else.
Regular season.
Through the regular season.
Put all the teams in
Doesn't
there.
matter.
Let's go.
I'm sitting here looking. My dad got the Fairleigh Dickinson over Purdue. My dad got Miami into the Sweet 16, which was great.
Yeah.
Kansas State still going strong. I don't get it, man.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
Right? It doesn't.
Like the Chewbacca.
There's not an algorithm that you can put to this.
This guy called Furman over Virginia, Princeton over Arizona. I'm like,
who's number one? Hold on. I've got the ESPN one pulled up. I got to see who's number one overall. In this
what
thing.
percent is it? Probably.
There's no way. All right, this guy
earlier said they had 98.3% of their.
Wait, who is this at? So like, okay, you're at 100%. You know nothing about basketball. No, okay. He had Missouri going. Yeah, nobody's perfect.
Okay, good.
Nobody's perfect anymore. Hell no, not this year. Not this year.
No. Appreciate it, Colton.
Thanks, Colton. Calling again, buddy.
Appreciate it. All right, Paul from Virginia. Paul, what's going on?
Hello?
Paul, what's up, buddy?
Hey, good to call in again. Call sign is Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah,
Dr. Strangelove.
Dr. Strangelove. PJ, let's make sure we get all these call signs down. I want to put up a wall of call signs.
Yeah.
Wall signs. See what I just did?
It's a reference to one of my favorite movies that came out in like 1964.
Yeah, that wasn't a James Bond, was it?
No, Stanley Kubrick movie.
Yeah,
Stanley Kubrick movie, dude.
Yeah.
No.
Get it right.
Okay, just because you have Woody Allen's jacket on doesn't mean you know everything about movies.
But we're playing temperature wars. It's 28 degrees down here in Virginia. I'm freezing.
In Virginia, where you don't have to tell me exactly where. Are you close? Are you close to the water? Or are you close to inland?
More so the middle area.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, but I know we're talking about March Madness and everything, but baseball season's right around the corner. You got college baseball in full swing. And sadly, I think this is the first year where I'm going to just say, I'm not watching. I'm just tired of what Rob Manfred has done with the sport. It's not what I grew up playing. It's not what I grew up watching. And like what y'all were talking about with the NHL, I think it's no longer about the fans. It's just about
money.
Not necessarily the sponsors, but the bottom line.
Yeah. And look, go ahead, Paul. Go ahead.
And anything that they could do, what Ben Shapiro said when you had him discussing it, it's not going to do anything because Rob Manfred doesn't want to do it. And the only thing that would really excite me at this point is if they brought back the pennant race. Just scrap divisions, just bring back the one league or the two leagues, and the first top player moves on to a series.
Yeah. Here's where I'm at on it. I get that they're trying to market the sport better. I can get the effort, but I think where they've screwed up is the execution. Now, I'm not talking about Rob Manfred's dumbassery moving the All-Star game and all that woke BS that Major League Baseball's done. That's just stupid, and I can't help that. I don't know if anybody can help it. We're obviously seeing what's going on in the NHL. But changing the rules of the game to the point where you can't recognize the game anymore as a strategy to get more people to love the game, I just don't think that's going to work. I don't think the pitch clock, I don't think trying to speed it up is going to work. I don't think trying to do people who love baseball are going to love baseball. I think marketing your stars better is the answer. Now, what do I mean by that? And I hate to use this league as an example because they're one of the worst when it comes to morality, and that's the NBA. Say what you want about the NBA, but they market their stars better than anybody else almost when it comes to professional sports outside of the NFL. Major League Baseball has yet to do that. They've decided to go the route of, we're just going to change the rules of the game, make the bases bigger, and juice the balls every now and then and see if that works. It's not going to, and it's a bad strategy. So, Paul, I hate to see it. I love baseball like you love baseball, but I don't think you're alone, my friend.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. And it's just, the rules are just gimmicks. They're not rules.
Yeah, well, it's like the carnival, right? Well, it's the bearded lady. Is that really a bearded lady? Probably not. It's like, oh, it's the man with the pig face. Was that dude born with a pig's face? No. Is he an Arkansas fan? Yes. Is that ironic? Yes. But at the end of the day, tricks don't last. It's just the truth.
Appreciate the call, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Call in soon, friend. All right, Cody from Illinois. Cody, what's going on?
Oh, here's our guy.
Who's ready to play? What year is it?
Let's do it. Hey,
I'm
call
ready.
sign. Do we get a call sign here?
No call sign, fella.
No call sign. No call sign. Here we go.
All right. So once again, I'll ask you guys not to use any electronic devices. And I will be reading you 5 clues from a specific year. And you guys are going to tell me what year it is.
Tell you what year it is.
So, yep.
Hit me with it.
So the collegiate champion, the Florida State Seminoles were named national champions in football by both the AP and coaches poll. Professional champion, the Toronto Blue Jays were the World Series champions.
When did he hit the grand slam to
Sensational
win it?
rookie, Shaquille O'Neal easily won Rookie of the Year in the NBA. Individual accomplishment, Mario Lemieux led the NHL in scoring with 160 points despite missing 22 games after being diagnosed with cancer.
God, that's impressive.
Significant event, Michael Jordan made his famous decision to step away from basketball to play baseball.
I feel like Cone knows this.
I think it's 93, right? Let's just think about this. That would have been Florida State would have been the football champion.
Joe Carter
right?
hits a game-winning home run in the World Series.
Yeah, because that was the Pat Borders year, right?
Yeah,
I believe right on that? Against the Braves, I think. Florida State, that would have been the Charlie Ward playing quarterback.
Bama won it in 92 against Miami.
Right?
Look, if you're feeling good with it, dudes, roll Shaquille O'Neal, though.
Shaquille O'Neal. Right, yeah. So it wouldn't have been the 99 championship for Florida State with Chris Winkie and them.
No.
It would have had to been 1993.
1993.
Is that what everybody's going with?
Unless it's 91.
No, don't even.
Can we go? I mean,
hold on.
1 or 3?
No, I'm riding with you, Cone. 1993.
I'll go.
Auburn went undefeated and was on probation and couldn't go to the Natty. Who won it that year? Conan, it's either 93 or 91. You go with it. It's you, buddy.
1993.
It is 1993.
Yes! Let's go! Cody, let's go! Cody, that was a fantastic one, my friend.
Man.
What's the temperature up there in Illinois right now, by the way?
It's somewhere around 25. It was really cold when I got my car, though. I wish I turned it on before I left.
Well, man, that question heated it up, my friend. Make sure you got a good one for us next time.
Thanks so much, Cody. That's a lot of fun, man.
Cody's been on fire with
All right, that's it for calls today. We got Isaiah from upstate New York. Sorry we can't get to you today, but Wednesday or Friday we'll take your call first. All right,
Definitely.
Isaiah?
All right, do we want to you want to buzz through fit it in a minute real quick? You want to do fit it in a minute?
No, we'll save that for tomorrow.
Okay, perfect.
Save that for tomorrow.
Let's get to the board of
right.
picks. Justice, what's going on in the Booster Club?
All right, we have $2 donation from the little tard that could.
Okay.
All right, says I've lost all trust and hope in John Calipari. They're down bad
It's
right
about
now.
time.
They're down
Guess
bad
what?
right now.
Guess what? What did Marty Huggins say? You better bring your brooms. You want to know why? Because it's a mess.
Yes.
All right, let's go to Fake Jake. Do the Panthers have what it takes to win the division this upcoming year with a complete offensive overhaul? Just sign, oh boy, Adam Thielen.
I just not winning the division. I don't think the roster's deep enough. I like some of the pieces you've added. I like Miles Sanders. I like some of these other pieces, but I don't think you're winning the division. I still like the Saints right now. So it's going to be
Derek Carr and the boys. All right, so Jordan Kilgore, he wants to know, watching from Costa Rica this morning.
Ooh, let's get that
It's a pretty good temperature down there. Do you think Alabama is good enough to win it all, even if Brandon Miller isn't 100%, Coney?
Yes.
Y'all think so?
Yeah, I mean, look, he had 0 points in the first round.
Bama's biggest
and
strength
scored 8
isn't
against
Brandon
Houston.
Miller. Bama's biggest strength is their depth.
Now, if he's out completely, that might be an interesting conversation, but just being a little bit banged up, even as a decoy, he's going to draw your best defender.
That's exactly right. Look, I mean, again, they're deeper at guard than the Lannisters.
Let's go to T-Money. How about that shmoney? Imagine having a 15-game regular season for college basketball, then changing March Madness to a 136-team tourney. Each round is the best of 3 until you get to the Sweet 16.
I just like it the way it is.
Single elimination, man.
I just like it the way it is.
I've watched that.
I just like it the way it's like Madonna's face. The more you mess with it, the uglier it gets.
Well, I don't know. Just Madonna.
Yeah, all of a sudden you look like
That's just
Jigsaw.
Madonna.
Dude, Madonna used to be is smoke show.
Yeah, I know. But
She didn't just accidentally get famous.
No, I get that, but sometimes you mess with a little bit and it turns out better.
I don't know.
I think so.
I don't know.
Want to get to bets?
Sure. Here's what I got today. After winning last month, this weekend was brutal, man. Betting the NCAA tournament, I mean, it's just like getting pistol whipped. Here's what I want tonight. Little NIT action or CBI or whatever one of those tournaments that's basically like a consolation tournament. Give me Milwaukee. They got great beer and decent baseball at +6, -115. Then give me San Jose State, Southern Utah, money line, and Eastern Kentucky +6.5. That's a +231. We go 2-0 tonight. We're turning it around. I think 5-6 units down so far in the month. After a big month last month, that's all right. What do you got, David?
All right, I want the Kings money line. That's the LA Kings, not the Sacramento Kings, even though if Sacramento wins, I'll take it. That's -115. And then the Penguins money line, -165.
Fighting Jalen Waddles. Blaine Dazium, what you
All right, I'm going back to his little 3-legger in the NBA. Hit my last one. Give me the Knicks, Warriors, Sixers, all money line to win +112. Give me the Red Wings at home +1.5. That's -154. Shout out to Purdue with that game, that buzzer that didn't matter, buzzer beater.
You mean TCU?
TCU. God, shout out TCU with the buzzer beater with 0.7 seconds left. Doesn't even matter. They're not going to win the game, but hit it for me to cover.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
That was crazy. Ace Cone, the artist formerly known as Baby Cone. Now there's 2 of them. He's going to take the Florida Panthers money line at -190 and the Avs and Oilers money line -164. Protecting that lead.
Look at Ace.
Protecting that lead. I can respect it. Look, I can respect the strategy.
Look at Ace having him a month.
He is having him a month.
blow
and
it.
guess what?
He'll blow it.
You could have a month. Spoken like a true father. You can have a great month, too, if you subscribe to Crane & Company on all platforms, including YouTube. If you're watching, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, go to the Daily Wire Plus. Sign up. We've got a fantastic team. There's more great content that's coming. Some huge announcements coming down the pipe as well. And also, remember this. The NCAA tournament is absolutely drunk, and it's time for John Calipari to move on from Kentucky. And, like the chances of Kentucky...
Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Got to get to poll. Get to poll.
Come on, man. Do this every day.
Interpol, man.
All right, who wins it all?
Early today.
Alabama, Houston, or the field?
Cone, you go first.
They said the field,
Canning.
45%.
Ooh.
You said 45?
45 the field.
Give me Bama, 41%.
Houston, 12%. Alabama, 33%. The field, 54%.
You nailed it.
There you go.
Nailed it. Good job. Good job. All right, any closing shots here? Anything?
Yeah, shout out Heather Mama, big Purdue fan. They blew it.
Sorry, Heather Mama. We love Heather
that.
Mama, Laura Brown, the whole group. The Booster Club women are incredible. Again, appreciate you guys checking us out. Got a great show tomorrow. Gonna be bringing on a guest that riled up some Alabama fans.
Ooh, he got him hot and bothered.
Coming back like Jordan, wearing the 4-5, but I need to play games with you. Make sure you check us out. Like the chances of Kentucky going to the Sweet 16. Maybe ever again with John Calipari. We're going. Gone.